I took the night shift because the silence made it easier to grieve. People think the graveyard hours at a rural ER are quiet. They're not wrong. Quiet in the way a storm holds its breath before breaking. Quiet like an old wound that aches when the rain comes in. Our little hospital, Rose Hollow General, sits 30 miles east of the ridge, just past the old mine that collapsed before I was born. Locals call it the pit. They say it never stopped breathing. It started 2 months ago. A man came in after midnight, eyes stretched wide as if some invisible hand had pried them open. He didn't speak, just shook. No, shivered, like every cell in his body was trying to crawl out of his skin. He clutched at my wrist when I approached, nails breaking the skin. His mouth opened as if to scream, but there was no sound, not a whimper. He died 3 days later, catatonic the whole time. The second came 5 nights after. A teenager, same road, County Route 117, the one that winds past the hills. Same symptoms. I tried to explain it to Dr. Keene. He wrote it off as a seizure disorder, maybe drugs. Small-town hospitals don't have the tools for anything beyond patchwork medicine and educated guesses. I didn't push it, not at first. And then Ellie came in. She was my sister, 26. Always drove with the windows down, even in the cold. She loved that stretch of 117, called it the loneliest road in Kentucky. Said it made her feel like she could disappear. When the ambulance brought her in, I thought there'd been a wreck, but her body was fine. It was her face, frozen in that same silent scream. Her eyes were wider than I knew eyes could stretch. I called her name. I shook her. I screamed until my voice tore. But she was already gone, even though her heart kept ticking for another 4 days. They said brain death. I said bullshit. I've been working every midnight shift since. There's a pattern now, a rhythm. Every week or so they come in, always after midnight, always from 117. Men, women, kids. All of them caught in that same invisible grip. I tried tracking them, asking questions, even drove the road myself with a recorder running. There's nothing there, but you can feel it. The last patient was different. Not in the symptoms, those were the same, but in what she left behind. A little girl, no older than 9. Her name was Gracie. Her mouth opened, and for a split second I thought she was going to scream. Instead, she looked at me. Really looked at me. Her eyes weren't just wide from fear, they were begging. Her fingernails were caked with dirt. Later, when I changed her gown, I found a crumpled piece of paper clutched in her palm. It looked like it had been torn from a Bible. The passage was underlined in frantic strokes. "And the pit from which you were dug." I didn't sleep that morning. I sat with Ellie's scarf in my lap, tracing the threads with trembling fingers. I thought about that passage, about the road, about what it must feel like to walk into something so old, so hungry, and realize too late that it remembers you. The next night, I stole the keys to the ambulance. I told myself I needed to see it. Not the road. I'd done that. The pit. The place sealed off with rusted chain link and decades of superstition. I drove until the radio cut to static and the trees grew skeletal. The air tasted of iron. It was worse than I imagined. A collapsed shaft covered with broken signs and barbed wire. But something had disturbed the earth. Something recent. Like the earth had shifted or exhaled. I stood at the edge for a long time, holding the scarf. I thought about Ellie's laughter, about the way Gracie had looked at me. I thought about how we let the road stay open even after the first 10 cases. How we wrote them off because they were poor, alone, or strange. Because real medicine needs clean answers, not superstition. I made my decision just before dawn. The hospital called it a landslide. Route 117's been closed for 3 weeks now. The county's arguing over jurisdiction, and no one's pushing too hard to reopen it. The ER's quiet again. I still work nights. Still dream of wide eyes and dirt-covered hands. Gracie never woke up, but she doesn't twitch in her sleep anymore. Sometimes I wonder what I buried that night. Wonder if it was the pit, or just my guilt. Maybe it was both. Maybe it doesn't matter. The road's gone. The silence is back. But it's different now. It's watching. March 3rd day. 41 of the Aleutian outpost rotation. Wind is steady out of the northeast. 37 knots. Whitecaps hammer the cove. The sea lions are back in force. Over 400 on the south-facing rocks. They look healthy from the cliffs. Big bulls posturing, calves bleeding, females packed like muscle-bound driftwood. Whale songs recorded last night on Hydrophone 7. Unusual. Bowhead, I think. Though the pitch is wrong. Office. Like the notes fall just a bit too slow. Like someone trying to remember a song they heard once, long ago, underwater. March 5th. Storm rolled in around 2:30 a.m. Winds blew out the east window in the north shack. Generator held. Barely. Hydrophones went dead for 2 hours. Came back humming. Low frequency, constant, like a subsonic dial tone. When I walked the beach this morning, I found them. 32 sea lions, dead. Tide brought them in, stacked like cordwood at the waterline. Throats torn, not clean, shredded. Ribs cracked outward, eyes gone, not eaten, just missing. Called HQ. Sat phones crackling like hell, but I got through. They said maybe orcas, maybe lightning strike. Told me to photograph everything. Didn't tell them some of the bodies had hands. Not flippers, hands. March 7th. Sleep's harder now. The wind talks, not metaphorically. I'm used to metaphorical wind. This is different. Last night I heard it call, like a whale, then like a seal, then like me. Not exactly, not words, just the rhythm, my cadence, the sound of me muttering data into my recorder. It echoed out from the shore like something was playing me back on a broken speaker. I went out with the flashlight. Nothing on the sand, but tracks in the gravel. Something crawled up from the sea, bipedal. The stride was almost mine. March 8th. I played the hydrophone recordings back through noise filters. The frequency shifted, slowed down, reveals something behind the whale songs. Clicking, in threes, repeating. It sounds like someone trying to say my name without lips. March 9th. HQ hasn't responded in 2 days. The sat phone connects, but no voices. Only static. It's lonely. I say that like it's new. It isn't. Been alone before. But this is different. Now it feels like I'm not supposed to be alone. Like something was promised company and I failed to deliver. The wind doesn't die down anymore. It presses against the cabin like a body trying to come inside. Sometimes I let it in, just a crack, just to listen. March 11th, I recorded myself today. Just to hear another voice. Just to remember what mine sounds like. Played it back. It wasn't my voice. It started as mine. For the first sentence. Then it deepened, slowed, became wet, slurry, slid into something else. It ended in clicks. 3 of them. March 13th, I found the hatch open on the generator. Nothing broken, nothing missing. But it was wet inside. Salt water. There's no way that should be possible. Not unless something with fingers was inside. March 14th, my eyes are wrong in the mirror. Not every second. Just sometimes. When I'm not quite looking right at them. The color goes gray, like deep water. Pupils widen too far. I blink, and it's gone. But I saw it. March 16th. Something is trying to be me, and I think I'm helping it. Last night I dreamed I was underwater, Not drowning, not swimming, just waiting. My body was slack. My limbs had weight. Something moved around me, brushing close. Huge, cold, familiar. I woke up standing outside, barefoot, on the beach. I had no memory of leaving bed. The tide was low, the rocks were wet, and my footprints went both ways. March 18th. Hydrophone 7 stopped recording last night. Checked the line this morning. Found it frayed like hair. Not cut. Worn away. Chewed. There were no teeth marks. Just suction. March 19th. I don't eat much now. I forget. I go to chew and realize I'm just moving my jaw, mimicking the motion. My reflection doesn't blink anymore. I've been recording, every night, listening back. Some of the calls don't match any marine species. Some match me. Some, I don't know. They sound like drowning men trying to hum lullabies. And one of them whispered, "Come home." March 20th. I dream in sonar now. I see the world in pulses and dark pressure. I feel the coastline in my teeth. Last night I walked into the surf, not far, just until the cold bit bone. I heard it breathing, underneath, in the trench, and I didn't feel fear. I felt welcome. March 21st. This is my last entry. Not because I'm leaving, but because I don't think I need to write anymore. Not in words. The clicks will do. They already understand me. They've been listening this whole time, and soon, very soon, I'll speak back. I've never been much for writing things down. Felt like it gave too much permanence to thoughts that ought to pass like clouds. But now, after what's happened, I need some kind of record. Something to remind me that I didn't just make it up. This all started 3 months ago, when Aunt Lillian died. She wasn't really my aunt, more like my mom's eccentric cousin who lived in that crooked house on the edge of Halberd Woods. The kind of place with too many cats and too many clocks, ticking just slightly out of sync. When Mom passed last year, Lillian was the only family I had left. We weren't close, but she'd always remembered my birthday, always called. And then she didn't. Her lawyer called instead. Apparently she'd left the house to me. All of it. The property, the belongings, and a sealed envelope labeled with my name in her shaky handwriting. The house smelled like mothballs and lavender rot when I walked in. Dust curled in the sunlight. Every mirror was covered with a sheet. I don't know why that unsettled me, but it did. The envelope had a single key inside and a short note, for when you start to hear them. The drawer beneath the stairs. I'm sorry, Eli. I really tried. It made no sense. I assumed the key opened one of her 100 junk drawers, or maybe a cabinet in that strange cellar. But there was, in fact, a drawer, built awkwardly into the wood paneling under the staircase. I only noticed it after 2 weeks of cleaning. The key fit perfectly. Inside were 6 cassette tapes and an old gray recorder. The kind with the clicky red button you have to press down hard. Taped to the first cassette was another note, this one written in a frantic scrawl. Play only when you hear them scratching. I left the tapes alone for days. I told myself I wasn't superstitious, that I was just too busy sorting the rest of the house. But the truth was, I was afraid. Not of what might be on them, but of what it might stir up. The way the note was worded, it felt like a curse waiting to unfold. Then came the scratching. It started softly, barely audible, like a squirrel trapped in the walls, but always in the same place, behind the mirrors, always at night. I played the first tape. Lillian's voice came through, clear and calm at first. If you're listening, then the house has started speaking to you too. It begins with scratching. Then the whispers come. That's when you have to be careful, because if you answer, they'll know your name. I paused the tape, sat there for a long time, then pressed play again. I used to think it was grief. After Simon died, the house changed. Or maybe I changed. Rooms started feeling off. Longer than they looked. Colder than they should be. Mirrors didn't quite reflect what I expected. And then I started hearing them. Beneath the floorboards. Inside the glass. They remember things I don't. The next two tapes were worse. Each one more desperate. She spoke of voices mimicking her own, telling her lies about her past. Said her reflection began aging faster than she did. That she'd tried to burn one of the mirrors, only to find it reappear the next day. Clean, untouched. By the fourth tape, she wasn't even sure she was herself anymore. They've taken something, Eli. Pieces of me. Memories I know I had. They wear them like clothes. Sometimes I catch them walking the halls in my skin. I stopped listening after that. But the whispers started the next night. They weren't in English, or at least not entirely. Some of the words sounded like phrases my mom used to say, soft, endearing, but twisted slightly, like a lullaby sung backward. They came from behind the mirrors, muffled and slurred. I covered the glass with blankets. It didn't help. I started dreaming about Lillian. In the dreams, she was pacing the halls of the house, dragging her fingers along the walls, whispering, "Don't look at them. They'll remember more than you do." I finally played the last tape 2 nights ago. I tried to contain them, Eli. The drawer under the stairs. It's not just a hiding place. It's a lock. You have to keep it shut. If you open it too often, they start to slip through. I've left everything I know. But if they've learned your name, it may already be too late. The mirrors are their doors. They only need your reflection to say yes. I haven't opened the drawer since. Haven't left the house either. Because the mirrors don't show me anymore. They show someone who looks like me, but different. His smile is too wide. His eyes never blink. And last night, I caught him mouthing something. Thank you for letting me out. I don't know who I am anymore. I found drawings in Lillian's room. Sketches of figures with my face, long before I was even born. Notes in her diary that mention a boy named Eli. Over and over, in entries dated decades ago. Was I ever real? This is my confession, my warning. If you find this house, don't look in the mirrors. Don't open the drawer. And if you start to hear them say your name, don't answer. I didn't mean to find it. The phone, I mean. I was just trying to be useful, helping my dad clear out the garage before it collapses under the weight of his hoarder instincts. Old ski boots, a broken guitar, a box full of VHS tapes with no labels, just 1997 scrawled on masking tape. And under that, a dusty Motorola Razor, still scratched from where I dropped it on the asphalt behind the arcade. I didn't even think it would power on, but it did. Like it had been waiting. The screen was dim, but the little envelope icon blinked like a heartbeat. 17 unheard messages. I hadn't seen that interface in over a decade, but muscle memory kicked in. I clicked. The first few were just static. Clicks, silence. Then my mom's voice from some forgotten day. Pick up some bread after school, hun. Then came message 14. Timestamp, April 11th. No year, just April 11th. It opened with laughter. His laughter. Sharp. Too clear. Then his voice. Dude, they moved the machine. The Dragon Claw one. You remember? The one that used to eat all our quarters? It's gone now. But something's still inside it. I think it moved. I froze. He said it like we'd just spoken. Like I hadn't watched his casket get lowered under a sky that looked too blue for a funeral. I re-listened. Over and over. Every word. It's gone now. but something still inside it. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't delete the message either. I should have. The next day, I went online, looked up the arcade. It was still there, condemned, scheduled for demolition years ago, but never knocked down. Too costly, they said. One Reddit thread called it a liminal space hub. Another said it was thin. I didn't know what that meant. I still don't. But someone, username deleted, had posted a photo. It was grainy, low res. Looked like it was taken on a flip phone. I zoomed in. In the back corner, by the shattered skee-ball machines, stood a dragon claw cabinet. But it was different. The claw was missing. The glass cracked, like someone had punched it from the inside. In the reflection, faint but there, was someone standing behind the camera, wearing a hoodie I recognized. Back in high school, he wore it every day. Black, frayed sleeve, bleach stain near the zipper. We burned it after the funeral. I remember that. I remember the fire. The next voicemail came while I was staring at the photo. Message 18. There had only been 17 yesterday. You still listening, man? He whispered. Come back. I don't think I left. Not all the way. Silence. Then, it's getting harder to remember my own name. Click. I went back to the garage that night. I wanted to throw the phone away, smash it, bury it. Instead, I sat there on the floor like a goddamn idiot and hit play again. Message 19. I don't even remember pressing record back then, but it was me. Younger, lighter. Dude, if we die today, I hope it's not in gym class. He laughs. You wish. If I go, I'm dragging you with me. Like a horror movie. You know the rules. Another laugh. Then static. And under it, layered, like something added later, was a faint tapping. Rhythmic. Like someone beating on glass. I'm not okay. I see him now sometimes. In my reflection. In the darkened corners of the microwave door. In the static between YouTube ads. He hasn't aged, but something around him has. Like the world behind him is rotting. Last night I had a dream where I was inside the arcade again. But the machines weren't off. They were all blinking and chirping, except the dragon claw. That one was running, waiting. I walked up to it. Inside, something pressed against the glass. Not him, something wearing him. And it smiled. There's a new message. Message 20. It came in 5 minutes ago. Don't try to remember how I died, it said. That's not how it ended.